What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Other Side of the Firewall, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
And LeVon Maynard.
Hey, welcome to the show.
What is going on? So, welcome to another great episode of the show. I think this is 103. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure. Please listen to 101, where we talk about the Russian version of Google receiving a denial of service or distributed denial of service attack. Tuesday, we talk about the UN losing some credentials and kind of how that happens and what problems that will cause. Today, we're talking about cybersecurity tips for when you travel, because I just came from a little bit of traveling. We know things are starting to open up, so we just want to reiterate to people to be safe out there with your devices, especially your phones, but laptops, all that other good stuff as well. So with that being said, I like to jump right into it, and usually I give it to you guys first, but I tell a little story first. Don't plug your phone into rental cars. All right. So I don't know if they still do it, but back in 2017, it was all the rage to collect your data and then sell it. That's what rental car companies did on the side. Like, it was in the user agreement. It's their car, it's not your car. You plug it into USB, they pull your contacts, they pull your text messages, and most importantly, they pull your GPS data to see where you've gone, both before you got in the rental car, living your everyday life, and then while you're using the rental car, and they sell that as well. Don't know if they still do it. I have not found an article saying that they are not allowed to do that any longer, so they probably still are doing that. Don't do it. So I had a coworker. We hop in the car. The first thing he did was plug in his phone. I'm sitting there listening to the new Drake, and then we're overseas. So I'm like, I know they got the whole Drake album on the radio. No, it's because he plugged his phone in. So. And then I was like, hey, you shouldn't do that. And he's just like, not caring. Like, they can have my contacts. I don't care. But like, hey, that's a lot of important data that you're sharing with them. And not to mention, like, what if somebody did something nefarious to this car and they're able to pass something malicious to you? Needless to say, we still listen to the album.
That's right. You're still bobbing your head and tapping your toes.
It's not my phone. So you do what you do. But it demonstrated when he plugged into the next time, like, literally when you plug it in, it like pops up, it says contacts, and it starts to pull his contacts. Like, it's pulling data from you. But
yeah, that's a good point. I mean, yeah. I was gonna say the same thing about I think they say the same thing about in the airports, they have the data chargers and things like that. Charging devices, whatever, charging outlets or whatever for your phone.
Yeah,
they have just a USB plug. They just have USB plug in the wall, not like an outlet, but so you can plug in your phone and potentially, just like you described with the car rentals, you can potentially pull some data from your phone. That kind of thing.
I didn't even think about that. Instinctually, I'd never plug my USB directly into the USB port. I always find my power adapter and I plug it in through power. Yeah, every time. Yeah, because they could be pulling data. If they so chose to do so. I don't know if they do that or not, but why not?
It's probably low risk, but I'm sure it can happen. And same thing like in your hotels. I've seen that in the hotels. They have sometimes on the lamps or whatever. They might just have a little USB plug. You can plug your device in versus like an outlet. But yeah, it's one of those things you got to just keep in mind of. I mean, I'm sure it's not like every plug you plug into is going to be compromised, but I'd rather be safe than sorry.
But if you think that way, you will be safe.
Right.
If it's not, if you didn't install it, if it's not in your house, it's nefarious. Right. All right.
Yeah, especially if you have a device that's I don't know, not only your personal device, but also maybe a work phone that has some government, company information on it. Could be even more sensitive in nature. It could potentially be a risk for having data removed from it. But yeah.
What about you, Shannon? You got any tips?
So I end up not plugging my stuff up into those for a different, more selfish reason. Because the last several years, my phones are fast charging phones, so I need the adapter anyway, right? Like if I just plug it into USB,
too slow.
What's with this regular? That's the peasants, right?
The
like
peasants.
Regular speed charging. Take this away. You
Take
know
this
what I mean?
away. Be gone.
But no, so like I mean, like whenever you're traveling and stuff, they talk about how you should always lock your phone. I am shocked by how often I see people that don't have like a combo or like there's all different types of ways. You got your Face ID, your PIN codes, you got the the designs you can do,
Yeah.
whatever. I'm shocked when I'm out and about by how many people don't have that, and it's just a regular swipe up, you know what I mean? Or whatever it would be. To
So
just
is that getting worse though? You think because of the wearing masks? Because
But
now,
even
like
if,
with the face
but even
stuff,
if you wear a mask, like you should still have your pin set up. So like when I have my mask on, like my Face ID won't work. You know what I mean? But I
right,
still have to do my pin. Like I have an
right.
alternate
But I'm saying like maybe that's making them lazy because they're like, well, my face is gonna lock on the
Oh,
phone,
you know
so
what?
now I'm like no lock.
That could be. You might have a point there. You might have a point there, but that still doesn't make sense to just say, I'm gonna turn it off. You know what I mean?
You're like,
Yeah,
it's
these
working.
phones nowadays have so many other options. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just one of those things where I don't get why people are still so comfort. They're so complacent. Is what I should say. They're so complacent in security with the devices they have. You know what I mean? But yeah, like, I mean, I'm one of those people. I was telling you guys before we even started the show, like I turn off my Bluetooth. You know what I mean? Even when I'm at work, like I'll have it on for when I'm in the car or something. And even then, that's not the safest, right? Like somebody could pull up next to me, and Bluetooth range is what 33 feet or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like they could blue jack me from the next car over in the next lane. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's something I think about and I've thought about for years, but I think it's just from reading different articles and being in IT and doing cyber is just like just things you read. You're like, okay, I'm gonna go with that. Public Wi-Fi, I never connect to it. You know what I mean? It's just I don't know. It's just things that they become second nature to you when you do them all the time. You know what I mean? So using a VPN, like even on my phone, like I have a VPN I use on my phone.
Yeah, I was gonna say I live a little dangerous. So I have the VPN and I do connect through, like if I have to, I'll connect through public Wi-Fi. But I feel a little bit safer because I have the VPN, right? They should only be getting junk.
Right.
Unless they're really good and they really want my data. But chances are that they're going for the easy kill.
Yeah.
Like,
they're not gonna put a lot of time into it, right? They're not gonna put a lot of time into it. And if you're in a public place, more than likely you're gonna keep it moving before too long anyway. And by the time they can actually get into your stuff, you're not there anymore anyway, right?
Right.
It's like most
it's like my bank.
Yeah, it's like most Def said, by the time that you get where I'm standing, I'll be gone.
Right.
So yeah, there's several different things people could do. The public Wi-Fi thing, turn off your Bluetooth, locking your phone. There's several things that they could do that are just
just being careful what Wi-Fi you connect to. So like if you're in a hotel, like look for that hotel's Wi-Fi as opposed to just any unlocked Wi-Fi because you don't know who that is.
Right.
It always kills me when I go to an airport and I see several different of that airport's name spelled different ways. I'm just like, oh man.
Right.
Like somebody's trying to get somebody. So you hope to get the splash page. And then from the splash page, you hope that if it's robust enough, it makes you feel a little bit more comfortable. Like a lot of the ones over here in the Middle East, European area, they send you an SMS when you go to connect. It's like another verification that hey, we're legit. Who's to say it's not still a really creative bad actor sending me an SMS? But you would hope they don't have that type of time. Like they're trying to get the easy kills, like just the airport Wi-Fi spelled just slightly different. So that way somebody connects to this unsecured network.
Yeah.
There's a lot, like you said, there's a lot of things that you should be cognizant of. You don't know if every tower is a safe tower. So like when I was going to the Bahamas before the pandemic, I was told you got to be careful because there are people setting up fake cell towers nearby the airport. So when you would land, you would ping the tower, but it wasn't necessarily the T-Mobile tower or the AT&T tower. It may have been somebody's local that was acting as a go-between to pull data from you. So, and then at the same time, like when you hit that tower, sometimes you pull data, so you could pull something malicious. So I don't know if that's still prevalent, but at least at the time, that was the briefing they gave us. Like, hey, don't cut your phone on immediately when you get off the plane. Like, wait a little bit till you get a little bit more inland, because you had these nefarious cell towers out there trying to get you.
Yeah, I was just trying to think as you were saying that. I was like, the only thing you'd be able to do for that is just keep it off. Like, I can't think of a workaround to that.
Put an airplane.
There really isn't.
Yeah.
There really isn't. Until you're just not in range of it. And those were closer, so they were stronger. But then they were, as you got inland, then it was typically a real tower. So just weird stuff like that. Like, you just have to be careful. I don't know if is there a site established that kind of gives you areas? Like, I know in the military we have, like, you get a brief before you go somewhere. Like, don't do this, don't do that. Be careful of this. I don't carry this much cash on you. Yada yada yada. I don't know if that they have that in the public.
State Department, I think. I think the State Department provides that for us. Like, if you want to travel to different countries or whatnot. They also have a site. I can't remember the name of it. But I was reading this with all the stuff that was going on in Afghanistan. Like, you can register when you travel. So, like, if you're an American citizen, you just register on this site and say, hey, I'm traveling to this location. This is how you can contact me. And when you get to those locations, like, report to an embassy or somewhere that's American affiliated, so they can keep track. Okay. And the reason this came up,
is that Apex?
It's not Apex. No. It wasn't. It wasn't a. You're thinking of the government one. Pass is what you're thinking of, I think. Right?
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Personnel accountability something system, I think. But no, this was the State Department. The website is a state.gov site. But yeah, it was talked about because of what was going on in Afghanistan and people possibly getting left. They were like, hey, this is what you can do. You can register here, get your information, because they weren't able to contact everybody either. You know what I mean? People that maybe they had their information from, they'd been in a country 6 months earlier and then they couldn't find it and they weren't updating the site. But yeah, the State Department does offer something like that. And I don't know if it necessarily gives briefings. I didn't even go to the site after I read the article. I told myself I wanted to. I was like, well, let me just see what's on there. But then I was like, nah, it's all right. I'm not going out. I'm not going out of country.
Right. Yeah, I had to do something similar when I took a trip to. Actually, I was in Guatemala for a little bit, just for like a trip, and I had to do the same thing, kind of register where I was going to be, and especially at the time I was working for the government and as a contractor, and I had to register in the system, make sure they knew that I was going to be out there, and who I was going to be in contact with, and like emergency contacts and all that kind of stuff. And then also make sure, like, I'm trying to remember, I don't remember all the details, it's a while back, but I think they wanted to check like maybe like vaccination record of some sort, or some sort of like just let you know about so just to know like your physical well-being. And then I do remember, like, I signed up for some system that would notify me if there was some like some sort of emergency in that part of the world, which is some sort of like, if there's going to be like, known crime, known drugs or whatever, or some like, rioting or violence or like whatever kind of situation was going on at the time in that part of the world, that they would just like send you email or like some sort of notification on your phone or something that you're going to, be on the lookout for this, or, be aware of this. And I actually still get some of those messages now, even being back home. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. I'm sure that, like you guys mentioned, kind of same thing happens in like Afghanistan. I'm sure some of the people some of the U.S. Citizens that are in Afghanistan, I'm sure they're like all like in some sort of database somewhere. Like if they follow the procedure, I'm sure they're in some sort of database to kind of let everybody know that they were there for X amount of time, or that they're back home. So yeah, it's a pretty important thing.
Yeah, especially if you're another tip when you're taking trips. Like, so I didn't post anything while I was gone. It's not just paranoia. It's like literally you're informing the world, like, I'm not home. Please break into my home.
Right.
So I typically don't post I'm leaving. I post when I return. Like, oh, I just came back from such. Here's some pictures. If I have to share, like, you don't have to share, but if like the majority of my let's say just the majority of all of them, I only have like 100 or maybe 102 or 3 people on my Facebook. Like, they're all family. or really close friends. So if I do share something, it's like, I just got back. Here's some pictures from, you know, a nice hotel. I got to see the water, yada yada yada. But I never advertise before I leave. At least I try not to. And then I definitely don't share locations. Like if I can turn off geotagging and things of that nature, I turn it off too. Sometimes I forget. Like I got a new phone, so now I noticed I did not turn it off. So it's like, oh, you're in, and it's like a word I can't pronounce. I was like, damn, I forgot to cut it off. But typically, you know, cut off geotagging, and don't share your location more than you need to with people you don't know, because that's also a danger. Most of the danger comes from your phone. To be honest with you,
Right.
like that device has so much information on it. And it's going to even have even more because did you guys see that Apple's going to start allowing state licenses to be digital? So that's going to be a thing.
I saw that, yeah.
Which I like, but that's just more stuff to get stolen, right? Like, but with that being said, yeah, like be careful with your phone because that thing will get you in trouble. And like Shannon said, make sure it's locked up. So in case somebody steals it from you, you know what I mean? Now it's unlocked. They're calling your family members.
Right.
They're like, I got so and so. Give me $50.
Right.
We've seen Unhinged, right? We know how that can go.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Exactly. We you don't want none of that smoke. But then all with that being said, like your laptop is also very you know, valuable and precious and what have you. But typically I keep that in the room and I keep it locked. So that way they can't, you know, get access to it. And I always cut off auto connection. I never have that on. I want you to ask me if I want to connect to the network. So it's like it's not as terrible as multi-factor that I'm always beating up because I'm there at the time. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you want to connect to this network? Because as you're traveling through towns and cities and stuff like that, it'll keep asking you, like, you want to connect to this network? That's kind of annoying. Like, no, I don't want to connect to any of these networks. But it's better than it's just like, oh, we're connected.
Right.
Now you got a whole nother problem because you don't know who's behind that network, like what nefarious activities are happening back there. Mm-hmm. So that's always something to be leery of. And then I'll stop talking, but the last thing I have is AirDrop. So I forget what the Android equivalent is, but cut that off. So especially if you don't like strangers sending you nude pics and other terrible things. That should be cut off in your daily life. Like you should only use AirDrop or other NFC type applications when you are ready to use them with people you know, because you will get some weird connected stuff will come to you from random strangers because the world is crazy out there, right? So if you don't want to see pictures of somebody's privates, cut off AirDrop and its equivalent. Because someone will send you something that you don't necessarily want.
Right.
So.
Right. And I'm in the Android world. I don't even know what the AirDrop is. I'm already secure. I don't have to worry about a guy sending.
You got something similar. Like is this NFC sharing? Like you want to send a picture or whatever? Like, you know, Apple has to have everything.
I think it's just called NFC on there. I think you just turn on.
Is it called NFC?
I think I'm trying to remember. And I think it was just turn on NFC, and it would get close to it, and that was it. Click, click.
Yeah, because I remember touching phones and all that stuff back in the day. Touching Note 3s.
Right.
But
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
you just gotta be always be restrictive, but be even more restrictive when you travel, just to keep yourself safe. Like you do rely heavily on your phone when you travel, like whether it be because you're not your passport, but your boarding passes and things of that nature. Like there's a lot of information that you have to keep track of as you traverse airports, especially when you're overseas, just because everything's not in English. So you have to make sure you hold on to that thing and make sure that thing is secure because it's your lifeline when you get in between airports and hotels. So I get it. You have to have it. You have to use it. Because you might even just need translator, you know what I mean? Just because you have to ask a question like, okay, my gate changed, where am I going? But it can be used against you is what we're trying to get at. So definitely make sure you keep your stuff wrapped up.
Yeah, that's the truth. Yeah, and I'm right there with you. I think you know, I follow the same practice. I don't only connect to the Wi-Fi if I really need to. Like I'll connect to the Wi-Fi in my hotel, but I also use, like Shannon was saying, I have a VPN I'm subscribed to that I use all the time when I'm connected to the Wi-Fi. If I might, especially and plus I don't do anything like sensitive. Like I don't when I'm on a hotel Wi-Fi, even if I'm like VPN and in VPN, I don't, I'm not really going into my bank account or some other like, if something got compromised with like if somebody captured the data between my like the traffic in between my conversation there would be like costly to me or like, but nonetheless, it's like I try to avoid the Wi-Fi's if I can, but I know that I do typically when I go to like a hotel, especially like a hotel, and I bring like my laptop in particular. I may connect to that Wi-Fi and set up my VPN, make sure that's standing up, and it's nothing like nobody snooping the wire because some of these hotels may or may not have like quality, good security on their access points and all that kind of stuff. People are going to be doing whatever they want, especially some of the employees may be malicious or something and try to get some data. Maybe they're trying to get trying to get some money out of people or whatever, trying to just hack and just have some fun with it because they know everybody's connected to it. But yeah, it's got to be safe. And my Bluetooth, I know Bluetooth is kind of like kind of sketchy as it is. There's a lot of vulnerabilities in Bluetooth. I'll keep my Bluetooth on for the most part when I'm like have some Wi-Fi. Like if I have not Wi-Fi, if I have like my headphones connected to my phone or something like that, if I'm listening to some music, maybe have it connected or turned on. But after that, I just turn it off. I don't normally have my Bluetooth, and I'm kind of like, I try to save a little bit of battery I have on my phone, so I try to turn off everything that doesn't need to be on while I'm traveling anyway. And I always have like a battery pack with me. I'm kind of surprised, I see people kind of tethered to the wall with their power adapters. I know like Shannon likes to have that fast charge, but I can't blame him for. But I also have I carry like a portable battery pack. So if my phone gets low, I just plug it right to the battery pack and keep it close to me. So I don't have to worry about like finding a wall somewhere. It's pretty convenient, especially if you're on the plane. It doesn't have like outlets on the plane. You just plug your phone into your little battery pack and be good to go. So I try to avoid any kind of like commonplace like charging locations or anything like that. And plus, like I said, maybe, I don't know, maybe that makes you susceptible to like, I don't know. I'm throwing this out there, but maybe somebody could be like, screen watching and see what you're doing on your phone or something, or your laptop if you're trying to plug up to the wall. Somebody's sitting there next to you trying to plug up and get some charge in their device and it's watching what you're doing on your stuff, or like I don't know, try to do some like social engineering and say, hey, what you doing? Hey, we're on the same plug here. What's going on? How you doing today? What you do for a living? Oh, okay. What's your password for the? It goes from that. It goes from hey, what you do for a living and what's your password?
Then you push back on them, be like, "Oh man, I thought we was plugged, buddy."
That's right. I thought we were plugged, buddy. What's going on? You just got to be safe out there when you're traveling. You never know. But that's my life of travel. I think that's some of the main things. It's like and you keep everything updated, and you have your antivirus, especially if you have laptops. Make sure that you can stay up to date. If you have like little tablets, also keep track of those. I turn those off if I'm not using them. Don't keep them on and keep them like connected to Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, because those can be hacked just as easily. And then you may have some sensitive stuff on there. You may have your Amazon account, have your all your Amazon account information, and then be able to buy stuff or whatever they can do to get stuff extracted from the device. But it's got to be safe.
Yeah, definitely. With that being said, though, just be as cautious as you normally be at times 10.
Right.
Be paranoid. Like, okay, what is if you travel paranoid, you'll be a lot safer. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
That will you will have just as much fun, but you will be safe when you're out and about. So definitely keep tuning in throughout the week. Like I said, we have a very diverse week this week. So the other two episodes were totally different than this current one. Tune in Friday where we talk about everything but cybersecurity. So that's always a really good talk. And then just keep hitting us up. Like I said, we're like on episode 103. We're just keeping it going. I have not hit a year yet. Our year is in November. I can't remember the date, but I will in the future. So we have a lot of content for you to dive into with that 103 episodes, right? So you definitely dig through it. Some of it's timely because it happened around like the Colonial Pipeline, or it happened around what was the big ransomware that before Colonial? It was JBS, and then before JBS, it was, oh man, I'm forgetting. But it was like,
I'm trying to think of who it was too. Yeah.
oh man. But then you also had the supply chain attack. We were around for that. We were around for when FireEye got owned and had to call the FBI, and FBI calls FireEye. That's when you know you. That's when you know you shook. You're like, I gotta call somebody. I need help. But we've caught a lot this past year. So definitely some good timestamps for you to dig through. So definitely hit up the website, www.theothersideofthefirewall.com. You get to all our social medias, and then you can hit me up personally. I'm at RyRy Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy. I am on Clubhouse, LinkedIn, Twitter, and TikTok. And you, LeVon?
Yes, sir. You can hit me up on the Twitters at LeVon Maynard.
There it is. Stay safe, stay secure.
Take care.